It's official. Wander Franco has been arrested in the Dominican Republic. Will he ever play in the MLB again? So here we have, courtesy of Yahoo Sports, the report that Rays shortstop Wander Franco was arrested in the Dominican Republic for missing a summons over the alleged relationship with a minor. So as you can see here, he was arrested after he failed to show for a scheduled meeting with prosecutors regarding an investigation into the alleged inappropriate relationship with a minor. He was summoned by the Dominican authorities last week, and he was scheduled to meet with the Special Prosecutor's Office for Children and Adolescents on Thursday in Santo Domingo. He didn't show for that meeting, prompting a search by authorities in his hometown residence in Bani, and they went to his home and could not find him. So Wander then showed up later, a couple days later, with his lawyers on Monday. So this is turning out to be a huge, huge mess. It's getting even messier. So what's your thoughts as our subject matter expert correspondent Rays fan on this whole situation with Wander Franco?
Man, this is horrible, man. But minus the accusations and the crime and all, the potential crime or whatever happened, that's a whole different thing. I'm talking about purely baseball right now. It sucks to be a Rays fan sometimes because, the Rays never, ever extend anyone, probably Longoria, that was their franchise player, but they rarely extend people. I think they gave Wander a 10-year, $181 million contract or something like that. Everybody knows the Rays are cheap. They never do things like that. And now look what happens. They try it in the first time in forever, and now you have this going. So it's horrible. Again, as a Rays fan, it's not that, he was actually the best player on the team. He had the most upside. He was a shortstop. That position so hard to find for a good hitter as well. Decent fielder, good fielder. I think the Rays obviously are. I don't even know what the word is, but is this going to leave a bad taste in their mouth? That's kind of what I'm scared of. Is this going to make them feel like, what? This is why we don't like to sign players long term. This is why we like to, develop prospects and then flip those prospects for whatever established people, and then get rid of that established star when he has to get paid more. And it sucks overall. He was obviously a cornerstone of the franchise. He was going to be a cornerstone of the franchise, and it's just being a Rays fan. It is what it is. If there's good news in any of this, I'm assuming the contract has a clause with any of this crazy stuff that they don't have to pay him the money if he's found guilty and all that stuff. And that'll free up money for them to give to other players, or maybe a Randy Arozarena. There's already rumors about him leaving too. Just like everyone with the Rays. But either way, it's horrible news, man. Wander was fun to watch on the field. He was a little flashy. People didn't like some of the things that he did, but on the field, but again, I feel like he did resonate. It's going to sound funny, I guess, with the younger audience that watch baseball because, he was cool. He was hip. He was flashy. And that's what the younger generation likes. So yeah, that's all I got to say as a Rays fan. And I think that this totally sucks.
This is an example of when the teams take a big risk on these long-term deals and it turns around to bite them in the because this is not one of those situations where the Rays are usually comfortable going with these long-term deals. They're more of a small ball market team. It's been super successful because they always tear up my Yankees and own them. So it's been really good recipe for them. There's been very few times, like you said, Evan Longoria, and this time around with Wander Franco, that they've given these 11-year contracts. This was an 11-year, $182 million contract for Wander. They don't do that often. But the other thing with Wander is this is obviously super unfortunate, but there have been reports with Wander that he hasn't been meshing well with teammates. He's been a bad teammate. They benched him, I believe, a couple of games because he wasn't running out. He wasn't hustling. And he's still super young. So that was after he signed that big contract. So sometimes people change when they get these ginormous contracts as well. The money gets to their head. We see it all the time. The dude is a super talent. So it's unfortunate that this is going on. However, the Rays took a huge risk in maybe not waiting a little longer to judging his character a little bit more thoroughly to see what kind of a teammate is this guy going to be? What kind of a person off the field is this guy going to be before handing out an 11-year, $182 million contract? So that's number one. Number two with this whole deal, in my opinion, Wander Franco will never play another MLB game again.
Wow.
He's finished with regards to the MLB. He's finished. I think there's things that the league has looked past, that they can forgive. I don't think this is one of those deals, obviously for the right reasons. And it's going to be a really bad PR move if you have a player like Wander Franco going through this process. And even if he's found like guilty or not guilty, like it's just the optics of everything, right? It's just not good for the game. And so for those reasons, no one player, as we know, is bigger than the sport itself. And you can't have one player like drag down the whole like image of the MLB and for the greater good of baseball. So because of that, I think the MLB and all the other owners for that matter, like, are just going to make sure someone like Wander Franco, because of what's happened, won't ever play another MLB game. Another example that maybe isn't exactly the same, but you see someone who was also made sort of an example is this Trevor Bauer.
Yep.
Right. He had his situation. I think it sort of turned out that, charges were dropped and he wasn't really held accountable from a legal perspective. Right. But his image is totally done. And I think he's done out of the league too. So just another example to think about of someone who is another recent sort of example where there were allegations made. And even though they cleared his name, he's out of the league at this point, pretty much. Every day that goes by is a day he gets older, and he's just not probably going to pitch in the major leagues, in my opinion. Wander is the same deal here. He's not going to step foot on an MLB field ever again. And I think if we do see him playing baseball at any point, it's going to be overseas, and I think it'll be in Japan. That's what I'm calling.